We have seen substantial gains for the pound against the dollar and the euro, the highest level in over 18 months against the dollar, highest level in over 3 years against the euro. On the news of that exit poll at 10 p.m. London time last night, we saw a big jump for the pound against these two currencies. You saw FTSE 100 futures as well move higher, really that sign of a strong Conservative victory, and that's reinforced by the performance overnight. Has really seen a lot of positive news coming through for the pound, boosting the currency to its highest level. Now, we expect that to continue, but I think the size of this win really provides that certainty that markets were looking for. They at least know now roughly what the way ahead looks like, even if, of course, the details still need to be ironed out. Of course, that's a very big if, but certainly markets are very enthusiastic with that reaction as it removes all this uncertainty that the UK has dealt with for the past 3 years or more.
Now, the pound could rise in the short term and then fall potentially in the longer term. Markets, of course, most economists thinking that Brexit will ultimately be a bad thing for the British economy.
Yes, I think that's the big question now, is where do we go from here? Now, we've seen a huge move higher in the pound since August and the sort of depths of despair. Now, some of that is likely to be reversed in the short term. And certainly once we get into, say, the trenches of detail with this phase 2 of the withdrawal agreement, then that is where we have the potential for falls, really. If you have a much more hardline EU approach or even a more hardline UK approach than perhaps we're expecting now, that will hit the currency. I think the expectation is now that the size of this victory, as we've been hearing, allows Boris Johnson the space to pivot perhaps towards a softer Brexit deal. So there is room, I think, for downside here. But overall, if you can avoid a major rupture with the EU, and those are still big ifs, then perhaps we won't see a substantial fall in the pound. And maybe we have perhaps turned a corner finally in expectations that we can preserve those close links and make sure that we find a Brexit that is preserving those close economic links and allows both sides of the channel to see economic growth.
And what would you say are the next big milestones that investors will be looking for as we go forward?
Well, we're likely to have Saturday sitting for Parliament, the passage of the rest of the withdrawal agreement that he wasn't able to get through before the election. And then we'll see the two sides sitting down after Christmas, really. In the new year, we'll see a different approach from the UK. And of course, while Boris has headed into this election pledging a hard Brexit, only just a free trade agreement, there is the space now perhaps for a slightly different approach. He has the majority to do essentially what he likes. And that's, I think January is the next big thing to watch out for, really. Early January, the first sit down between the two sides. So watch out for that, really, the declaration of intent from a new government, possibly a new Queen speech early in the year as well.
Chris Beauchamp, markets analyst at IG, thank you very much indeed. Chris there taking a look at how the markets have been reacting